You know, I can't remember if it was really a bunch of neighborhood friends that got involved in pickup games or if it was actually my dad who probably started rolling the ball across the living room floor when I was a little infant. And it started young. I just can't remember exactly how or when. I just know that at a very young age we were playing neighborhood baseball all summer long.
Summer days feel longer when it comes to childhood reminiscing. For Jack Morris, many of these carefree flashbacks took place in St. Paul. John Scott Morris was born in 1955, when baseball in Minnesota flourished, not within granite walls or beneath a Teflon sky, but rather on the Bloomington Prairie.
When I went to see a major league game as a kid, I was a child amongst men, and you could tell there was a huge difference, but that they were playing a sport with genuine love that you couldn't help but admire. But it was a lot of fun. I remember that was one of our special nights when our family would get together, and it was always spontaneous. Dad would come home from work and say to my mom, hey, you know, we got anything going tonight? Let's go out to the Twins game. And at the old Met to sit on the third base bleachers there and watch the guys, it was always a special night.
Jack's family consisted of an older sister, Marcia, and a younger brother, Tom. It was his brother who can be credited for fueling the fire in the future Hall of Famer.
We were so competitive in everything we did. You know, I don't know how many times I heard Mom yelling at both of us to get out of the house. If we're gonna wrestle in the house, go on outside, and we would.
I mean, the Morris brothers, Jack and Tom, you know, Jack was a little bit older. He was the, you know, great athlete, great pitcher, although known for his wildness. And Tommy, his younger brother, who was a smooth left-hander. But we didn't play against each other a ton at the high school level. You know, Jack was at Highland Park and I was at Cretin. But we played against each other quite a bit in American Legion ball. My first at-bats against Jack go way back to probably my mid-teens.
I was not a pitcher, I was a thrower. I could throw the ball through a wall. If I hit the wall, I probably could knock it down. Sometimes I missed.
I remember him hitting a kid up at the Highland Park field on our team in the face. And it was one of the ugliest hit batsmen I had seen at that level, because normally a guy's velocity doesn't concern that you can't get out of the way or you're going to cause a lot of damage.
While Jack's arm wasn't accurate, it was strong, and he attracted the attention of Brigham Young University. The college offered the former third baseman a scholarship to pitch. Joining Morris at BYU was his brother Tom, Harmon Killebrew's son Cam, and Vance Law, whose father played a vital role in honing Jack's skills.
Vernon Law was my college pitching coach, and he had played in the major leagues for the Pirates.
Vern Law is the perfect example of what mothers and fathers thrill over if their sons idolize a baseball player.
He was the first guy to ever show me any kind of changeup. You know, my changeup wasn't anything refined. It was so slow that 99% of the guys would just take it. So I always looked at it as a free pitch. If I could just throw it for a strike, I got a free pitch, because they were so baffled that I'd throw that slop up there. With that being said, I realized that changeup is, you know, changing speeds is really an art.
With new guidance from a Cy Young Award winner, Jack flourished. He went on to be drafted by the Tigers during his junior year in 1976. But on the days leading up to his date with destiny, Jack was feeling a little uncertain and went home to Minnesota to reflect and be with family.
While I was home, I went to a Twins game, and Bert Blyleven was pitching against Frank Tanana. And both guys were throwing curveballs from off the moon. And I looked at my mom and dad, and honestly, I had this thought, I don't know if I'm good enough for this.
Morris was good enough. In fact, in a twist of baseball fate, he got to prove it. His first major league start was against the pitcher he so greatly admired.
Yeah, it was quite the start, and again, you know, butterflies and anxiety comes into effect. My first start, I think I walked the first 3 hitters. I remember Ralph Houck, our manager, came out to the mound and he said, Jack, you're really throwing the ball well, but you gotta throw a strike or I gotta get you out of here. And I thought to myself, this is not the way to end your first start. And so I kind of calmed down, took a deep breath, was able to get the next 2 guys out, got out of the inning, and then it was off to the races.
We both went 9 innings. It went extra innings, and the Texas Rangers won. Out on the mound, you knew if I was pitching against Jack Morris, I'd have to be at top of my game because, you know, as he matured and got settled into his role as starter, he came up with that split finger along with his fastball. He was nasty. In the 1980s, nobody won more games than Jack Morris.
And for a young Jack Morris, it all started on the third base bleachers, watching a pitcher's duel at the old Met.
Those guys were flat out dealing, and I was so impressed with those two guys. Little did I know that I'd be friends with Bert. Frank Tanana would become my teammate later on in life. I had no idea that that was going to be a part of my future, but I was very impressed with what I saw.